Honorable PM Modi ji made a comment about this Gilhari in
Wow.
his consecration speech.
Oh wow.
Today, India is in a situation where I tell the youth that if you're pessimistic or if you're disappointed with something, think of the Gilhari. You try, you learn, you stumble, you make mistakes. Why does your best idea come in your shower?
Yeah.
Or why do you get the best brainwave when you're driving?
Yeah.
You're not thinking. God were to come and tell me, what is the price of this? As an artist, I think I am in a wonderful state of confusion. I've been crossing 40 million views.
Yeah.
And, doing an monthly average of 50 plus million views, which is gratifying in some way. Inventing a hypothetical DNA to make something plant-like was the challenge in that particular sculpture. The question is, what are you chasing? If I'm not chasing the commercial trajectory of this, I'm going to be an artist.
Sahi baat. Guinness Book of World Records was your biggest milestone, if I'm not wrong. TEDx also, you've given brilliant speeches.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think of any university who will teach you these combinations.
Yeah.
But when I started saying that, okay, I'm an artist, I'm a sculptor, in the beginning, let's say 20 odd years back, there would be some famous galleries or well-known curators who would say, oh, this is design, this is not art.
Artist dhanda nahi kar sakta.
There is no other way of growing faster.
This has been one of the most intense podcasts I've ever had. We've had 30 podcasts now, and I think this is one of the most intense and a lot of fun. Good evening. Hi. Welcome to another episode of The Heartful Show, where art meets the heart. Today we have someone very exciting, someone who is actually a name in the industry. And for the first time we have a sculptor artist. He's much more than that. I mean, just to give a small introduction, he's a TEDx speaker, you're a Guinness World Record holder, you've traveled places, Singapore. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. And I think your entire life has been exciting. So introducing Kalyan S. Rathore, an amazing person, and today we have him to give some insights about what he does, how he does it, and how his journey has been. So hi sir, how have you been?
Hi Aryaman, I'm doing great.
Yeah.
And thank you for the wonderful introduction.
Yeah,
I
mean, of
hope
course.
I live up to that.
You have lived up to that. I think that's more than anything I can say. So I mean, what or who is Kalyan S. Rathore? In a nutshell, if you have to tell me before we start the talk.
As an artist, I think I am in a wonderful state of confusion. So I can say I derive energy from the confusion that has happened in my life. I never was meant to be an artist. I wanted to be a doctor growing up.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a scientist subsequently.
Engineers also, if I'm not
Engineer
wrong.
and design, industrial design is and was my passion.
Okay.
So I bring to art a variety of history that is typically not there in art. And that's the perspective from which I accidentally entered into the field
Industry.
of art. Yeah.
They say artists are mad. Do you think would you classify yourself as the psychotic one or the energetic one? Like, do you agree with that statement?
Not entirely. I guess, well, if I were mad, I wouldn't know it. I would be in denial, one. But I understand what you're saying. Chaos. How do you derive and how do you channelize your chaos?
Agreed.
And how do you not worry about boundaries that are otherwise set?
Exactly.
So if I'm good at a certain field, why not bring that element or the principles from mathematics into art?
Exactly.
For example. So these were the thoughts
Because you've done stuff which is totally, it's impeccable, number one. It's stuff that no one can even dream of doing. Like, I mean, the reason why I said the reason I use the terminology mad is because only a person who does not, a person thinks to a limit. Beyond that, anything or everything he does people just get shocked by the kind of work he does, and that is exactly what you've done. You've broken boundaries. Of course, Guinness Book of World Records was your biggest milestone, if I'm not wrong. TEDx also, you've given brilliant speeches. So to reach that level, I think someone has to be mad. That is why I use that terminology. And you've done wonderfully well. I mean, congratulations and God bless you for that.
Thank you.
How did you reach that stage? I mean, was there a specific path that you knew you wanted to follow, a roadmap, or was it all along the way?
It was all about looking back and connecting the dots.
Yeah.
And always believing that your next best thing or next best work is around the corner.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps you motivated and working towards the next best thing that you can do. So that's my secret if I have to. And you try, you learn, you stumble, you make mistakes, and you pick up where you left and you continue.
What has been your biggest mistake? I would love to know this. If you remember.
I would say, it may be a little flippant to say this, but then I would say that every mistake that I've made in my life, I'm happy to say that I was somehow blessed to convert that into a positive.
Oh, wow.
For example, I'm not a formally educated artist.
Yeah.
So if I look back, maybe if you'd asked me 5 years or 6 years back, I would say, oh, yeah, I wish I had taken art as a profession when I was in college. But now, it turns out the best for me, at least. It's a debatable thing, but then if I have become a self-taught artist, I have probably been able to break some norms, learn some things new, and bring to the fore a new flavor into my work. Had I, in my case at least, had I been trained as a formal artist, I would have probably been straitjacketed.
Yeah. This is exactly what I wanted to ask you. Like, I personally think, don't you agree with the fact that education also constrains you? Because I think art is something that, of course, you get better practicing it, and
Yes.
if you have formal education, you do get better. But I also feel sometimes, specifically in a country like India, because it's so constrained, it's so restricted, that you just get into that bubble and you can't, expand or, develop your thinking from there. So do you think this was a boon to your career that you did not get formal education?
It's a very good question, and I have mulled over this so many times. I'm happy you asked that. To me, I feel as students, we should never think of education as a safety net.
Yeah.
The minute you start thinking of it as a safety net, okay, let me do this particular graduation, let me do this course in art, and then I am at least safe. So if you're looking for safety, education is not going to help you.
Yeah. Not.
You want to say that I will learn and I will tear my degree certificate the day I got it, whether you do it or not. But if you have that mindset, I feel that's when you can break barriers.
Agreed.
You're not going to be certified by someone else or some other institution that...
It's only a form of validation, so
Exactly.
that is what I feel.
Exactly.
Like a certificate
So
is only...
when you run after the validation, you're running after a safety net. So you burn the bridges and do what you can.
But does it now, you've been in this industry for 18 years, if I'm not wrong?
Yes.
So does it come bite you in the ass, like after a few years, if someone asks you for your credibility or your certificate, does it happen?
At least in my case, from being a little... trying to avoid that, now I would proudly say that I'm not educated in art.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So-
and I think your work speaks louder than any certificate would have. But even education, it's a good topic I want to talk about. I think education in India, when we talk about art education, and especially in your specific field, sculptures, I don't know of any good institute as well, or a college, or even a school for that matter, which emphasizes and endorses this form of art. Like, do you know of any school which masters in sculptures, which is good?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
Yeah.
If it does, it would do in certain traditional ways, age-old techniques, which are, I give them the due respect, no doubt. I can't sculpt with clay to save my life.
Yeah.
Right? But then I have found a different way of doing it. That's another story I should tell you.
Please, all yours.
To the best of my knowledge, I haven't seen a curriculum or a course where you would learn, you'd be taught this kind of methodology. I may be wrong, but I'm not aware.
Not in India
So-
for sure. Like, let's.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because here it really combines a lot of observations. And when did I start learning art? I can't recall. Maybe when I was a kid, even before joining school. So that's my university. My backyard
Yeah,
was
of
my
course.
university.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I think a true artist, for that matter, anyone, what is your observation skill, and how keen are you to see things and see it in your own filter, recall, adapt to what you're seeing, and how you can improvise your learning. That initial education is what is foundational.
Agreed.
I was the worst student in class till the grade, I think, 5 or 6. And then something switched in my mind when I was introduced to geometry.
Okay.
So I have been lucky. I can't say that, I have worked towards it. No, I never had a plan. Even now, if you ask me, I believe that I need to have a plan. I know it's important. But then when I'm working, when I'm doing my best work, I don't have a plan. The
But I
plan
think
comes
that's
to
the
you.
best part about
Yes.
being an artist.
Exactly.
I think we artists do not have a roadmap, and that's what brings the best in us. If we all had a plan, then we would be so calculative. You've
Yeah.
studied engineering, so I know. I mean, calculation does not work with art, work well with art.
It doesn't take away from discipline, rigor, practice, repetition. No doubt. Those are very important. But once you have done all that, why does your best idea come in your shower?
Yeah.
Or why do you get the best brainwave when you're driving?
Yeah.
You're not thinking. It seems like there's another faculty within you that is doing the thinking. So how
So
well
true.
can you how well can you tap that, and how efficiently can you partner with that subconscious? I guess that those are the key questions that I would like to ask myself every time.
No, but have you got certain shower thoughts that you've turned into nice, visible sculptures?
Absolutely.
I'm pretty sure. I mean,
Absolutely. See, when you get the best of challenges or best of opportunities to create a sculpture, you need to do that rigor. You need to sit, you need to do some back research, you need to figure out how the other artists would have dealt with it, and what is there in the market, what have people done in the past. You need to lay that ground. And once you have done that, that is when you've done your hard work, and then leave it to your automatic
Agreed.
subconscious mind.
and then leave it to luck as well. I think luck has a very big role to play when it comes to art in general.
Yes,
Like,
yes,
because
yes.
it's so subjective.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily whatever you make is going to be liked by someone and this and that. And I'm pretty sure that you must have gotten so much of criticism, maybe in your own family as well. Like, have you had that phase where you were criticized every now and then for pursuing this art form?
I wouldn't say criticized, but I guess seen with doubt. Really, is this a field that you can survive in? Can you feed yourself and the family by being an artist? Because typically artists are like that stereotypical,
Yes.
oh, I'm not.
It's a very abused,
to make money.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's an abused industry.
Yes.
And I can't even think about those times because every conversation I've had with a lot of artists, because that time we don't have, you guys didn't have the same kind of exposure that we do. So probably it's easier for your son also to become an artist in today's time compared to the times where we're talking about 18 years back. So what were the hurdles that time which actually came your way? And you of course evidently did wonders.
I was fortunate in one sense, because I always had my design work to fall
Work
back
from,
on,
yeah.
and I personally didn't see a stark boundary between design and the art that I started doing. My art stems from my design career,
Of course.
and it feeds into each other. So for me, it was a bold decision, but it wasn't like I would go hungry or I would not be able to feed my family if my art career fails. And then, of course, there was a good family backing. So those things definitely worked in my favor.
I mean, and it's always scary to think that what if it doesn't work. But anyway, talking about the good stuff. Do you remember that first project? I mean, what made you start and sculpting, and how did you get into this field specifically?
For the longest time, I used to be creating furniture. equipments for hospitals, for gymnasiums. So all these things include or need a lot of design thinking, design detailing and all that. So I was pretty happy doing that kind of business, and I was very happy sketching my ideas and creating inventive designs and all that. This one opportunity came by when a friend who's a builder said, since you're good with metal, can you do something like a sculpture for me in metal, like a tree? So that's when it stuck to me. Somewhere back of my mind, I always wanted to be an artist. But then I had
You didn't have that push.
I didn't have that push, and I didn't have the confidence when it comes to, my mind block would be like, what does a sculptor do? Work with clay, chisel on stone. But then somehow, although it was right on the table, it didn't occur to me that I could become a sculptor with a medium that I'm really good at. So that one break got me thinking, and I said, I can make a tree. So I need to understand, what is a tree? What's a tree doing? How does it grow? Is it random?
Wow. Okay.
So when I started asking myself these questions, I went back to my childhood. Because as a kid, I would bunk school and play around in my backyard. And I find a leaf, I would go and see that under a lens. If I find a dead insect, I would dissect it.
Wow.
So I used to love the fascinating structures and forms. See, as a kid, you don't have a name for these things. But then you start seeing things and you're in awe of, for example, a dragonfly wing.
As kids, I mean, you don't have any restrictions.
No agenda.
No agenda. You're
just
so flexible.
enjoy. Yes.
Just enjoy.
Yes. So, somehow when this opportunity came by, I did fall back on my experience as a kid. And then there were many questions in my mind, which I was able to then start answering. I stumbled upon the idea of biomimicry.
Oh, yes.
What is structures? What is biomimicry? This I'm talking about like 18 years back. Today, biomimicry is
I want you to emphasize on that term as well, because we've been, of course, talking you.
Okay.
So, but a lot of people do not know that term. So what is biomimicry for all the students? What do you mean by it, and how? I mean, first, of course, continue your story.
Okay.
Then we'll talk about biomimicry.
Right. So that was my first break. Then I said, yes, I can be a sculptor and I can use my industrial methods to make a sculpture. And now, again, the sculpture means like, okay, can you make a portrait of a human? No, that not necessarily that. Sculptures are about bringing your concept. If you call it art, it is art for you at least. That's a good beginning to have.
Exactly.
So, mastery of one technique without knowing that you're going to use this in future as an artist probably stood me in very good stead. Because if I said I would become a sculptor using steel, my process would have been different. For me, steel was a livelihood. I know how I can use industries, how I can use materials, how I can do joineries to create these stuff. After that, the next revelation for me was that, hey, you can be an artist by using the same skills and techniques. So that's when some kind of a membrane or a boundary in my brain broke. And you won't believe, the minute I started this, I would see fascinating shapes and geometries in my dream. Half sleep.
Yes.
In my REM sleep, before I go to sleep. And after a while, I was able to call these things on order. I would say, all right, let me dream now.
No, but you were able to channelize them and convert it into reality. Wow.
But that was the challenge. It was like, it was like labor pain.
Yeah.
You have this idea.
Vivid. Yeah, I mean, just a glimpse.
You can close your eyes and imagine what you're wanting to create. But then when you go onto the paper, it's difficult. Why? Because there seems to be some rules in nature. Call it nature, call it God, call it the supreme. There seems to be some kind of a thumbprint. What is that thumbprint? All my journey in art has been discovering that thumbprint. And it's a continuous process. Take the DNA, the structure of the DNA, proteins. What are all these hundreds of thousands of proteins that are useful to us? within our body and what we consume. They are, after all, geometries.
Yeah.
The way things are folded. By nature of their geometry, they have properties in chemical, in their chemical
In the chemical components, yeah.
form. So somehow everything, at least to me, started pointing towards a geometry of things. If
Probably
today you
because
were
you've
to
also had history with geometry. Like that is also one reason the subconscious works.
yes.
Yeah,
So
fortunately.
today, if you were to find an alien being, for example, the alien wouldn't understand your language, probably not even your numbers, right? So how would you communicate that you are trying to say something intelligent to the alien? Is to by communicate using geometry,
Yeah,
right?
true.
That would be the universal language.
Sign language or
Yeah.
geometry, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So when shapes, geometry, and these things are so universal, why aren't we focusing so much on that aspect? When you understand the geometry of not just shapes, even the society has a geometry, has a pattern. So when I talk about the social structures, the economics, the word geometry can translate itself into pattern recognition. These are an abstract way of thinking of forms. So this fascination is what brought me from a field of design, industries, and other academics to art.
And talking about your work, one similarity now that I'm thinking, I've seen similar in all your works is that you make symmetrical stuff. You don't like asymmetry?
It's a very good question. I do love asymmetry. Maybe I need to explain my work to you in a certain way that
Yeah.
I have stuff
Of
here
course
that I can show.
we will, yeah.
Where the illusion of symmetry is there. You're very right.
Yeah.
Symmetry is there, but then it is a repetition with a slight change. Order. Okay, let me put it this way. There is order, but there is change also.
Yeah.
Whatever is happening is repeating itself, but it is changing in a certain
No,
way.
when I say symmetry also, sir, what I mean by that terminology is that there is a certain definity to each and every sculpture that you make. Not that every sculpture is same.
Yeah, okay.
It's very definite. Like there's
Yes.
no, in Hindi we say no oot patang cheez, like something which is out of the box.
Yes.
Like what asymmetrical stuff is. So this is what I mean.
Okay. So I guess what you're trying to say with asymmetry is that there is no indefiniteness.
Yeah, there's
There is
no
a
indefinite, yeah.
It is following a principle. It's
Yeah.
following an order.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what nature does,
Yeah.
right? When you see, if I were to draw an image of a tree without knowing the principle by which a tree grows, it will never look like a tree. If I were to draw the same thing by knowing how a tree would grow, what are the proportions? At the fundamental level is the golden ratio. 1 is to 1.6.
Wow, I've never thought about that. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So the minute you draw a tree, being aware of the rule by which the tree grows, your tree will start resonating with nature.
Got it.
So these are the discoveries I have been able to, fortunate to stumble upon, and then wanting to go into every rabbit hole, do my own research.
Fantastic. And so, I mean, what you're on a bigger scale, what you're talking about is a term called artistic freedom as well. So, like with all the projects you've worked on, have you ever been, stopped or, has someone ever said that no, we want something of this sort, not this? Have people become hurdles in making, while you were making sculptures for them?
All the while in the beginning,
Yeah.
yes. But then you need to figure out, not every project is for your, it's going to feed your body of work. From what you have seen, there would be probably 2 times more projects that I have done, but I'll never catalog them.
Yeah, I'm
So
pretty sure.
I would do a project for the money in it, so that I can feed my workers.
Of course.
I learn something from the engineering of doing something, but that would never come into my curatorial page. So having said that, it's a process, and as you grow, your body of work and what you want to do and what kind of clients align with you start merging.
Merging.
So that's the sweet spot.
That is the ideal
Yes,
stage. Yeah, I
yes.
mean, I hope that happens with you. But talking about your work, talking about steel. So why SS or why steel? Like you were saying that you're not a fan of clay or probably even fiber. Do you work with fiber as well? No,
I'm not a fan of
not a
fiber,
fan of fiber.
but it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, of course it
Yeah.
is. But why steel specifically? Like, how did that? Because every artist has a base material. Why
Right.
steel?
Okay. When I initially started getting my ideas to create these forms, uh, nothing in the market would, enable you to create stuff in a certain way. Now, let me put it this way: steel is going to behave exactly as your paper would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if you understand the visceral nature of how paper behaves, you can crack what you can do with steel. It scales up in a very precise way. So, at the outset, steel was very much a material of convenience. But then, as you start working with it, steel has a bad name, as in, okay, it's steel, man of steel
Yeah.
and steel. Uh, Steel isn't very hard.
It can
You
be
should
molded.
know how to cajole it into doing something.
Hmm.
Right? If I give you a sheet of paper, you can make a cylinder.
Yeah, I can
You
make-
can make a cone. But then you can't make a ball unless you crumple it. So crumpling calls for different kind of physics and forces and
Yeah.
stresses.
Of course. Wow. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So what is the geometry behind that? These are called ruled surfaces and compound curves. If I gave you a sphere and I asked you to divide it in a certain way, how would you divide? If I gave you a square piece of paper, you can divide it.
The
in
first thing is
hundreds
cutting,
of-
yeah,
cut
cutting
into
it,
half,
yeah.
4, 8, whatever.
Yeah.
But if I gave you a sphere or cut an apple, how would you cut an apple? We all know
Rack,
that,
yeah,
like
chop
the
it.
longitudes of the globe. But are there other ways of cutting this? These questions will start giving you a conceptual beginning on three-dimensional geometry. And three-dimensional geometry itself is a beginning. After that comes the fourth and the fifth and
Yeah,
sixth
of course.
dimensions,
Yeah.
which become more and more abstract. But having an understanding of the entire gamut of form, from an abstract idea to something down to earth as what you can draw on a sheet of paper, gives you that vastness,
Yes.
gives you that ability to traverse along concepts.
Can you tell me the 5 biggest misconceptions that people have about steel? You've spoken about some.
About steel,
Yeah.
you should know geometry to work with steel,
Okay.
right?
Number 1. Yeah.
Yes, you can make a cone with steel sheets,
Yeah.
but you can't make a samosa. Right? Because a samosa, or if you want to make something that is of a compound curve, the challenges that the steel will put you through is different. So you have to align with it. You have to align with the geometry of structures
the
and forms.
bases,
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Second. Third.
Third would be like steel can be very clinical and cold.
Yeah.
Steel
so I've
can
heard.
be steel can be the most warm and
Fluid.
inviting material if you treat the surface properly.
Hmm.
Yes. So if steel, generally we think of utensils
Yes.
or
yes. The
clinical.
first thing which comes to mind. Yeah.
Yes. Bartan.
Yeah. बर्तन हम सब यही
Yeah.
सोचते हैं.
So बर्तन लगा दो तो sculpture बन जाता है. I don't want to get into that topic.
Yeah. That is a different topic.
Yeah,
We'll
yeah.
come to that also. But yeah, fair enough.
So you need to understand. I mean, like, it's like training a dog. You learn the dog's personality and you treat it with love and respect. It will
It will treat you with
treat
love,
you
yeah.
with the same thing.
But I mean, talking about again education.
Yeah.
So of course you have had experience, but not, and you are a researcher. I can proudly see. But did you like go through a formal training where you would understand the base? Like, how did you get to understand what it is, the components of it? Geometry, fortunately, you know. But was it all because of work, or did you actually study about steel as a base?
No, I didn't study about steel as a base. whatever I'm doing now in my work is completely on my own.
Oh, wow.
And I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think of any university who would teach you these combinations.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree.
At least not to the best of
Knowledge.
my knowledge. In the last 4-5 years, I have been extensively doing workshops for students of design, architecture.
I wanted to come talk about that, yeah.
And why I'm saying that is because when I go to these students, I see that there are a few large gaps in their learning. And I'm happy to say that because I'm happy to see that a student has not learned something in the wrong way. It's better for them, it's easier for me to not have them to unlearn something and reteach them. So,
That's a beautiful thought.
Most
yeah.
people in art and architecture even are in that field because they were fearful of mathematics. Now, I am not a good student of mathematics myself.
Aren't you?
I am not.
I'm surprised.
I'll tell you why. I was never good at the higher mathematics and calculus and trigonometry because you've only seen it. The window has been your teacher.
Yeah, so you're not a good student of math, which is a shocker.
This is controversial.
Yeah.
The math that we are being taught is for the Indian population to become clerical, which is a good thing. You need to do that. Mathematics is all about getting that one right answer. Am I right or wrong? I'm wrong. The school and college mathematics is all about getting that one right answer.
Yeah, maths is all about black and white. Like there's no grey area in maths.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is only one. That's the tip of the iceberg. What is the larger, beautiful region of math is the philosophy of mathematics.
Okay.
The philosophy of mathematics is to understand what math is doing, the history of math. The minute we expose ourselves to these aspects, math becomes beautiful. So we are ensuring that a child never falls in love with mathematics, but then he is punished and whipped, at least in my generation, for getting that wrong answer.
Yeah.
There can be 1 million wrong answer and there will be just one right answer. That's what is scary about math. But if I were to sit and tell you why a giraffe has that certain pattern on its skin and there is a mathematical basis to it.
There is?
There is. And I will demonstrate this.
Wow, okay.
The minute a child sees that, he'll say, wow, is that what math is about? Where is that math being taught? It can't be taught through textbooks. It cannot be the CBSE syllabus of, how much do you love mathematics?
Yeah.
So this is a boon and a bane. We have good engineers, we have scientists, all that is good. But we are losing out on so many other intelligent children who would otherwise have grown up loving mathematics.
Agreed.
We are shunning them.
Agreed.
I do understand education and the institute for the masses have to be in a certain way. But then that's where the private institutes or mentors can come into the picture. I am doing my bit. Whenever possible, I do pro bono workshops for schools and colleges. I just go and speak to these kids.
So I've seen, beautifully.
Yeah. I speak to them. I give them these concepts. I show them how you can play around with paper and debunk the biggest mysteries or the most scary looking concepts in trigonometry and all that. First, understand the visceral. आपके हाथ में जो कर सकते हैं, using a pencil, using an elastic band, what science can you feed into yourself? And then make the child curious about that and then open the textbooks for them to understand.
How talking about this now, I'm connecting the dots. So of course, when you make sculptures, it has to be with the base, the kind of base you're talking about. So does it play a very major role while making your sculptures and making it something different as well? Like I've seen you mold steel and certain installations that you've done which are mind-boggling, has to say. So has that all been thanks to geometry and the kind of maths you're talking about?
I guess, yes, more of being able to imagine in your mind, close your eyes and imagine a form, imagine a structure and rotate it, the spatial ability that you have. And of course, not just that, you're able to do that in your mind because you have worked with paper, you worked with models, you've created stuff. So I always believe in being hands-on, and I've coined a phrase called tactile quotient.
Okay.
Like we have heard of IQ, EQ.
Yes.
All these are overused
terms.
But there is a phrase I would like to introduce called tactile quotient.
Okay.
Now, tactile quotient is how a child starts learning by feel, touch, playing with objects. Of course, there are some other fields that speak about these, like STEM toys and all that. But here, in a very visceral way, let me give you one example. I always like to study how a child, or even a grown-up for that matter, closes the car door.
Yeah.
Do they slam it?
Slam it or softly?
Do they use the inertia of the door to just come close and then give it one nudge?
Yeah.
Why is this important? This is important because it's saying the physical movement, the action is saying that you understand physics. It's not the textbook physics. You understand the feel of an object. Right? So when children are taught that sense, the feel, अरे वो chair लेके आ जाओ, so you go and drag the chair with all the or do you pick it up in a certain way and you place it back in a certain way, so that you're not
of course
you're understanding it's a jugalbandi with the physical world,
science,
right? So that visceral understanding is important in education. And I have personally seen that, when I train children in that way, their mind expands. They learn so much more about everything else that they are learning.
Beautiful. Sir, do you see yourself turning into an art educator after retiring, I think? Or have you ever thought about your retirement? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't understand the term retirement. Because I don't even retire on the weekends.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So an artist never sleeps, sir. Let's be honest. This is a big misconception. That artist.
Long weekend. The biggest benefit I have is nobody's going to call me, so I can work on my stuff. So retirement. No, I don't see it as retirement, and I don't have to. I'm in mid-50s and I don't have to be in mid-80s or anything to then start becoming an educator. I have been an educator for the last 7-8 years already. And I have reset my age at 50. So,
what do you think is the best part about, or the biggest misconception about people like you educating these students? Because as you've said that they are restricted. Are there any more challenges that you face while educating them?
Yes. It is not so much the children, but the institutions, unfortunately, in some cases. Although I'm happy to say there is a wave of change happening. So, for example, I'm like, hey, I want to do a free pro bono workshop for your school. So the principal.
So you approached them.
Yes, because I want to do it.
For the fun of it.
For the fun of it, and because it's my home turf, let us say in Bangalore. But then the management will be like, oh, I will put you on to the art teacher. No, Baba, that's not what I'm saying. Give me 10 minutes. This I'm saying like 3-4 years back. Now they know my work.
Now they, of course.
So it's not about an art teacher assessing what I'm going to teach their students. That is old school.
Yeah, that is old school.
I'm here to teach your art teacher as well. Or your math teacher. Sorry, that sounds a little pompous.
No,
but these are the bad experiences because you asked me.
But this kind of I think every artist should be this pompous and confident, because that's the key difference between an art teacher and an artist like yourself. An art teacher is more of a craft teacher. वो स्कूल में ये सिखाएगी कि अच्छा बोर्ड कैसे बनाते हैं, paper plane. That is the difference.
With due respect to that, I mean, it is needed. But expand. Don't go narrow. Expand is what I'm saying.
I agree with you. So we were talking about the challenges. So one is that institutes won't let you, come into the picture and, educate you. Did you also sense some series of competition while you were doing this as well? Like, were there insecurities that people had when you took this initiative?
In the education thing?
Or even your art, I mean, your sculpting
course.
field, yeah.
If broadly speaking, when you call, who gives you a certificate? I mean, is it like a CA or a doctor or a lawyer?
It's just a
I
paper.
I could have called myself a sculptor 30 years ago. I mean, growing up, I could have called myself a sculptor. Nobody's going to challenge you. But when I started saying that, okay, I'm an artist, I'm a sculptor, in the beginning, let's say 20 odd years back, there would be some famous galleries or well-known curators who would say, oh, this is design, this is not art. So who's the gatekeeper? I need to first convince the gatekeeper.
But is there a fine line between the two? I don't
There
know.
isn't. These people are now realizing
Yeah.
that art, it's art if the artist says it's art.
Art is a broader term.
Let-
Design is a smaller term within that.
Exactly.
That is what
Exactly.
I think. Yeah.
So it's there. I mean, these few and far incidents that I've had where I would have expected the curator or a gallery owner to understand that, all right,
The
this
perspective.
stems from design, but then this is where it crosses the boundary of design and becomes art. So I was a little surprised that some of these so-called,
so-called
well-known
galleries, yeah.
art connoisseurs did not get it in the beginning. So be it. I'm happy
Yeah, I mean,
either
to
way.
each its
Yeah.
own.
Yeah.
See, I think, but sir, now thinking about it, I think when we talk about art and art selling as well, no, the thing is we can never fight anyone because at the end of the day, it's so subjective. Like we can educate them, we can
Yeah.
try to convince them, but at the end of the day, अब कौन किसको बताए कि मैंने मेहनत कितनी की है टाइप्स बिकॉज यू नो द इंटायर जर्नी एंड द इंटायर स्टोरी ऑफ बिल्डिंग दिस Rubik's cube, or I mean, I hope it's a cube. So this cube.
It's it, yeah.
But if I talk about a layman and a customer just walking into a gallery, अच्छा paper से ही तो बना के रख दिया है types.
Of course.
Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
how do you tackle such people as well? Like, do
Well,
you
I
leave it to
don't.
the nature, or do you educate them?
Well, I don't.
You don't. You
I
leave it to,
leave it to them.
Yeah.
ये कितने का है, किसमें बना हुआ है.
ये तो मेरा नीस भी बना देगी और मेरा. Have you got those?
I
lines?
wouldn't have got that because yeah, that would come to abstract art where
okay,
you've just
got it.
done some.
No, but we get this every day.
movement.
अच्छा ये तो मेरी बेटी भी बना सकती है
हाँ.
types. We get this every day.
Yes,
But have you? What is the worst comment that you've got on your sculpture? And I'm pretty sure Instagram पे तो you guys must have gotten so many hideous comments.
Okay, this was Jagannath ji ka
Yeah, of
murti
course,
was,
of course.
It was in Coorg and it was a very slippery slope
Okay.
on which we had to install this. So I was wearing my shoes.
Ah. Okay.
वो जगन्नाथ जी तब तक नहीं है जब तक उसका
हाँ,
स्थापन हो गया
स्थापना नहीं
और
होती.
पूजा के टाइम में. So I made a mistake of wearing my shoes around that. So there were people like, you are going to die for this.
Oh wow. Extremism,
yeah,
man.
yeah.
Huh.
So which is okay. I mean, I guess they just want to vent it.
Yeah. They need an Last week we did a podcast with this beautiful human, Sakshi. So she was also telling us about a case of commission work where she was making the Golden Temple, okay, Darbar Sahib, and her head was not covered and she was wearing shoes and she's painting and she posted that on Instagram. She's like, within 15-20 minutes, I mean, my Instagram was bombarded by these Bajrang Dal and God knows who all. Ki, how can you make a painting without? So, I mean, I think this is part of the job. But do you have fun also? Like, is social media fun for you, sir?
Off late it has been.
Yeah.
I've been crossing 40 million views.
Yeah.
And, doing an monthly average of 50 plus million views, which is gratifying in some way.
What kind of a role does that play in your life? I mean, is that a form of validation for you?
It is. It gives you. It's a dipstick into the society. One, and you have to tell yourself that I'm happy to be controversial, but if I'm going to reach my community, if I'm going to build my community where I would have people think in a certain way and help each other, then it's worth the energy. I wouldn't want social media to be my vanity placard.
Exactly.
So if that happens, that is a byproduct. millions of views and crossing 100,000 followers now. I'm happy and I have a lot of gratitude for all that. But then that shouldn't become my objective. That can be a result of what I love to do. So I'm happy and I'm.
But does it ever get to your head, or does it ever get overwhelming as well at times?
Not so far.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
You're as old as my father, no? So he's not a fan of social media. And fortunately for you, you have your son who's handling it. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure that he takes care of the negative part of it.
Yes, sometimes I mean I'm urging to reply to some of these, and he says, "Shut up, don't do it, leave that to me."
No, but now you're right. But 50 million views, 25 million views, because of course you've done wonders. Now talking about conversions as well.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's a legitimate platform to actually convert and sell as well? Like, how do you focus on sales then, or do you not focus on sales?
I don't depend on Instagram for sales, but then there are those opportunities that come up where you make good connects. So not every it's not a proportionate increase in business because you're catering to a certain segment
Target.
and certain mindset. You do get support from like-minded people. For me, Instagram is about connecting with my student community. By student, I don't really mean the university students. There are so many people in art and who are in business.
Who just simply want to learn.
Yes. Who start feeling like, oh, I've got a lot of this. Where I wish I had learned this in my school of architecture. I wish it was explained to me in such a simple way. I am not a smart person, and that's why I dumb it down for myself. If you tell me some concept, I want to go back and dumb it down. So that process.
That's very modest of you to say.
No, I truly believe in that. Even in my school days, if I didn't understand something, I would come and try to create a model out of that and the atomic structures or whatever. And wherever you go to the vegetable vendor, the way he has kept those tomatoes or oranges together in a pyramid is a geometry.
It is geometry. Yeah, it's all science.
The atomic structure is based on that kind of
geometry and science. Gravity. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of factors playing a big role. Now that I'm thinking about it, but wonderful. And I think, fortunately for you, sir, as you were saying that you've got certain financial backing and you were always in that good space. One more thing which I want to shed light upon is you've traveled the world. So do you think there's a huge difference in the kind of education platform also which they have versus we have?
There are pros and cons of both. I guess the competition and the masses that we have in India,
no one has.
So that brings about a rigor, and that's why most Indians succeed and excel overseas, and especially in the Western countries. The Western education, while it is good, well intended, it may turn out to be a little too much of pampering and chalta hai kind of thing.
But on the contrary, because I studied
but there's
abroad.
one thing: if someone excels in the Western education system, he or she has a very good fundamental idea of the concept. But if someone excels in the Indian system, it's not necessary that an Indian scientist, I'm saying this with apologies to any exceptions in the field.
Of course.
There will definitely be exceptions, but there's a very bold generalization. I would like a scientist to be able to explain what he or she is doing to a 5-year-old. Can you do that?
Fair enough.
Then your fundamentals, and then you have a visceral understanding of your subject. If you can't, then you have left the society behind, and the system will only reward people who are born genius.
Got it.
You're not in a system where you're creating geniuses.
Got it.
Yeah.
Beautifully put, yeah. Yeah, I mean, to even continue this statement, I think the main difference between the Western education and Indian education is over here it's more, as you said, that we don't focus on fundamentals because 99.9999% is all bookish. So any education that is being imparted is all कि अच्छा this is the line, this is what you have to learn, this is what you have to execute, khalas. But over there, like in the Western, when I saw that it's more structured. Like if there's a line as well, why does this line exist? What is the purpose behind this line? And how can you execute it? So all these three steps are taught by the teachers, by the professors, by the Number two, another difference that I've seen personally is execution. So and practicality. 90% of the things which are taught here don't have any practicality. Like if anyone's, as you rightly said, if a maths teacher is teaching maths, so it is all bookish on a blackboard. That this is what happens. This is what you need to do. Khalas. In the West, they execute and they show like how geometry works as well. So I think that is a fair difference. I mean, sorry for my monologue, but yeah. So don't you think that also happens?
Yes, that happens. And
but how do we change this, sir? Like talking for yourself. Like if there are three changes that you would like to do in the education system, be it art or be it education in general, what would you do?
Parents' mindsets.
Yeah.
Because the education system is a reflection of what the parents think.
Yeah.
At
Agreed.
least in the larger middle class. The stress on certain fields and the dipstick is your marks. It has changed, fortunately. I mean, I come from a generation where every teacher would be known for the kind of cane that she would carry.
Of course.
Like warriors with specific weapons. The staff room would have a rack for mathematics teachers, socials, science, bio, or whatever, Hindi. And their personality, that stick would become a part of their personality.
Yeah.
So I come from that era of
yeah.
schooling. So I wouldn't know, of course, if it happens now or not. But my children, for example, would be shocked. Like, really? The teachers would hit students for not doing homework?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but that is a fair difference. Like my father also tells me, but I also feel that that time also had its own boons and banes.
Yeah,
like if
yeah.
you guys wouldn't have been so disciplined. I mean, strictly disciplined, you won't turn out to be the way you guys are. I think we guys, and I'm bluntly saying this to all the millennials as well, I think we guys are more laid back. We know how to get work done smartly. You guys know how to get work done hardworkingly. Like you guys work harder. I think we work smarter. I think that's a fair difference. Don't you agree?
Yeah, because we work harder, now we know how to work smarter as well.
Yeah, of course.
But if you're working only smarter, but then if there is a scenario when you have to work hard as well,
then we fall back. Yeah.
Because if you can do a calculation with paper and pencil, and you're using a calculator, is a better scenario than you're using only a calculator.
Yeah, agreed.
Right?
Agreed. So this also has two perspectives. It's another conversation. Talking about art, sir, talking about sculptures, let's come back. So, I mean, I want to talk about certain misconceptions as well. Because I think being an artist, people think that artist to गरीब होता है, artist कोई भी बन जाता है types. Like these are certain misconceptions. But one thing which people don't understand is that to turn into a legitimate, famous artist as well, you need a lot of finances. Because, of course, the kind of sculptures that you also make, unless you have a few X amount of funds in your account, you can't even make that sculpture. So, I mean,
Yes.
what do you think about this misconception? And how do you overcome this?
Well, it's been a uphill task for me as well. It's not that I'm able to create what I really want to create. It takes that rigor to build your signature work and then to believe in it, to stand by it until people would be happy to pay for it. Why would someone buy a Ferrari or a Bugatti? It's not really for the performance of that vehicle, which would be a part of it. It's the emotion. They are
Agreed.
selling you an emotion.
Yeah.
Can you are you confident enough to create a piece of art that would connect in that sense? And people would want it like a child in a candy store. Millionaires should want your work, billionaires should want your work. They should become children when they
And
see
I
your
think
work.
storytelling plays a major role
Exactly.
in this. Another thing what reminds me of storytelling is now, like, I know of painting. So earlier, every artist used to have this, description about each and every painting of his, telling, oh, this is my perspective and this is what you need to know about my painting. But recently, in the last 2-3 years, artists stopped doing that because now art is subjective, and they think that every customer who's buying a painting or an artwork should be able to describe it by himself or herself. Do you think that's fair, or do you think that artist's perspective matters or should matter?
I guess it should matter because art is mostly not about looking at a beautiful thing. You are looking at it from the eyes of the creator.
Yeah.
Well, you might want to sometimes isolate yourself and look at it from your own perspective. But then you would want to understand how and why the artist did it in that way. What was his situation? What were his limitations? His advantages and his limitations, his circumstances. So that makes it even more interesting. You watch a beautiful movie and then you would want to understand why the director did it in this particular way.
And I think that is what
The
you exactly
backstories.
pay a price for.
Yes.
Nahi to
yes.
just an assembly of steel, to you pay whatever.
Why would you pay so much for a M.F. Hussain horse when if I were to take a better photograph of a horse and blow it
print it and
up, you would not pay me a
cent.
yeah.
Yeah, true.
So that's where the who, how, when.
But how does someone reach that stage, son? I mean, now I'm talking about your perspective. Of course, you also started from scratch. You would be selling your sculptures for a few thousands, then coming to a stage now.
Giving it free.
Giving it free.
Also.
Yeah, and I think you worked with the government as well, so no comments. But so with the government, you must have had such experience as well. How do you reach that stage of revenue popping in? Because I think revenue is the biggest challenge when it comes to an artist's life.
Yes.
So how does one reach that stage from scratch?
I wish I knew that answer. No, it's looking back, it's always about. I mean,
What did
the
you do in your
cliche
case?
of
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
Keep trying and you get lucky. That is one. But then you get a sense of it, and I can empathize with artists who have to depend solely on art as an income. For me, I had these 2 verticals or 3 verticals where, it's not like I'm doing some other business and then I did art on the side. My design career
Was
there, and I might be the wrong person to answer this question for an artist who knows only how to use art to make a living. But from my perspective, it would be that you need to push open doors. You need to sell your work
for
peanuts in the beginning. And then your focus should always be on your next work.
Why am I asking this is because 90... See, this is a saying that artist dhanda nahi kar sakta. There's a saying in Hindi
Yes.
that artists can make, artists can create, but at the end of the day, like, you need a gallery, so XYZ people to sell your work. But in today's time, because people are getting self-sufficient, so I just wanted to understand for all the fellow students how to price. How should one price their sculptures or their paintings or their artwork? Or should there just be a random pricing? Or should there be a structured pricing?
No, there should be a very structured ramp on which you should grow. I always believe that I have one interesting story that I tell myself.
Yeah.
Let's say I have the biggest opportunity to create a sculpture, hypothetically, like 10 feet sculpture, and a billionaire is going to buy it. What would I do? I would not base the price of that sculpture based on who's buying it. I would base it on what it means for me, and if someone divine, let us say God, were to come and tell me, what is the price of this? I have a number in mind, an honest number in mind. A rupee above that, I'm going to walk out of the deal. So what is that figure that comes to your mind?
Which is set.
I feel you go to that number and maybe go 5-10% more. That is how it should work. And this ramp, as you keep at it, it's not a cliff. It's a slow ramp that will grow.
Agreed. And now talking about pricing as well, because India is such a price-sensitive market, and the Indian mentality is, "Ki nahi nikal yahan, so discount, 25% discount, 30% discount." So how do you work with such people and such customers as well?
See, it's like this. If once I fall in love with the work that I want to do, sometimes I am a very bad businessman.
Yeah.
So I am happy to say, if I like the client, I'm happy to say, all right,
Take it.
But that's just me. I don't know if the right thing to do.
No, I think.
Yeah.
So I think more than anything,
it's more like, you are giving me this opportunity to create what I love.
Yeah.
And I want to meet you more than midpoint, more than halfway. That's a mindset I have. I'm proud of it. But I don't know if my wife and children will be proud of that kind of commercial decisions.
So I mean, I've been having a very fun conversation, sir. I want to talk about certain things, of course. Like, you've spoken about biomimicry. That is a concept which is alien to, I think, a lot of people. What is biomimicry, and how did you bring that into existence?
Well, I started seeing the fascinations of biomimicry without even knowing the
terminology.
The term came to me much later. For example, the classic example of biomimicry is the dragonfly wing.
Okay.
It is almost translucent, and it has these structures inside. They are not grids, they are not squares, but it has a pattern. But that pattern has a meaningful spread. Today, what people call parametric design. It follows a certain parameter where closer to the body the cells are tight, and as it goes further away it becomes more loose and wide. Why is that needed? Because nature is choosing a certain efficiency. Nature always takes the most efficient path, least amount of resource, maximum functionality. So nature, therefore, always turns to geometry for efficient structures. So that efficiency and geometry, when combined, comes up with these patterns. Now, these patterns, the minute they are efficient, you'd be surprised that our human emotion connects much better to that efficiency than it would to something beautiful.
Okay. Wow.
So efficiency is beautiful in that sense.
Okay.
Why are we fascinated with the way a cheetah is built?
Because of its
streamlined structure, or for that matter, anything. Every animal.
You were talking about zebra as well. Like, what's the science? What's
the giraffe?
Oh, sorry, you were talking giraffe. Sorry.
Yes. So the dragonfly wing has a connect to the giraffe skin also. I mean the patterns that you'd see.
Okay.
I will show you that in a sketch.
Sure.
Yes. So these things start. They speak to you in a certain way. And then it's up to you to understand.
So how did you end up blending that with your sculptures?
It is very seamless because when you're creating a sculpture, what do you want? You want it to be efficient as a structure. For me, beauty was not the beauty that is perceived as, the typical beauty. A flower is so beautiful. A flower is never beautiful to please the human eye. Its beauty is a byproduct of its function.
Wow, wonderful. Yeah, that is another perspective. Yes, of course.
So in fact, there's one interesting project I've done for Bangalore International Airport.
Yes, of course.
Which is flower-like. Floral in a way. But then it's not the typical flowers. So it has the spirit of a flower and the physicality of an industrial process. For me, such projects are very interesting, and the way these two concepts get merged together is where that's the sweet spot I search for.
Lovely. Talking about these projects as well, sir. What is? I want to know. As I'm very curious about this. What is the kind of conversation you end up having with these people who assign you these projects? What's the layman conversation when they come to you? Okay, क्या बोलते हैं आपको आके कि we need this and you make this.
What I wish I could tell the client is
Yeah.
just shut up and pay me. But what I have to tell them is like, this is my history. This is the signature that I can give you. In the interest of getting the best value for your money, let me have the freedom. When this wavelength matches and the client or the architect in some cases sees the connection, those are the best projects that I can create. When there is too much interference from the architects, design, whatever, I understand some projects are made in such a way, the concept is conceived well before they have probably met me or seen my work. In those cases, I do understand. I'm happy to support such projects as an industry. But I would never put my tag onto that work. I'm happy to support them in that sense. But those would be like probably bought in China, probably fabricated based on some blueprint. There are no blueprints. I mean, there are blueprints.
So what they come to you with a story that this is what we want. Like how does it work?
In an ideal situation, they would come to me. I would ask them about the ethos of their company. What do they do? What does the ownership think? The buyer has to, after all, live with that work for the rest of the life. So I do respect that. So I make allowance for that kind of thinking and process. But eventually, after I have created my work, the best case scenario is the buyer sees it in a different way. This has happened in quite a few cases.
Wow, beautiful.
Without naming the client, there was one particular piece where I've called it the harmony, where a wave-like structure just goes through this landscape. So at some stage it was like, won't this look like AC ducts? Valid doubts. But then they were also good enough to say, all right, we'll leave it to you. And then when it came up, it had, at its core, it still is a boxoid that flows in a wave. But that wave is not just a wave. It follows a certain pattern as though there is a written DNA. The minute there is a written DNA into it. So in fact, I call it like an alien plant. Why alien? Because I don't see a plant on planet Earth, which grows like that. But if there was an alien DNA which would dictate how the form would grow, then it could be this.
Wow.
So inventing a hypothetical DNA to make something plant-like was the challenge in that particular sculpture.
Wow.
So it resonated well with everyone.
Beautiful. And is there a project that you've not been proud of working on? Like, have there been certain projects?
I wouldn't be able to recall because they would never have stuck to my emotion. But yes, there have been quite a few. And no, you would never see it on my catalog or on my social media.
Yeah, you won't.
So I wouldn't.
But one good thing you just pointed out, that it's not part of your emotional part. But there's a saying that an artist should never get emotionally connected with his or her artwork. Do you believe that's true?
No. Your artwork is you squeeze your entire life experience, you compress it, and then one drop comes out of that life.
Yeah.
That is your art. So how can you not be connected or emotional?
But why do people say it? Like, I'm pretty sure you must have heard this a lot as well.
I guess it is probably useful when you are building, when you have to be prolific at some stage. You have to keep creating irrespective to develop your technique. Maybe it helps in that stage. Maybe I have passed that stage.
Yeah, of course.
I wouldn't
You've
know.
done so. Do you have a number? Do you have a count of how many sculptures you've done? I mean, how many installations have you done throughout these 18 years?
Easily 100 plus.
Wow. Wow.
These are the small and large.
And we're going to talk about the most talked about sculpture installation, which is the Ayodhya railway station.
Yes, yes.
Tell me about that. Just take me through your experience.
Okay, that's a wonderful experience I had. This was. Let me tell you how the situation revealed itself to me.
Yeah.
We all knew the Ram Mandir is being inaugurated.
Built,
It was like a countdown of 30, 40 days, 50 days. I remember that. And never in my wildest dream did I imagine that I would play some part in this.
Yeah.
So there were some agents and people working for, seeking out art for the railway station. In short, the brief that came to me was, hey, we need a sculpture for a railway station. And I never connected the dots. I said, okay, railway station. So my thinking went towards railways, technology, train, journey, all that. And I came up with a few ideas. Then in 3 days after I have given that presentation, surprisingly, they say, okay, here's another small detail we forgot. It's for the Ayodhya Dham railway station.
Okay.
I said, forget whatever I have given you so far. Give me 3 days more. So that's when I thought, what would people do? Okay, let's do a Gada. Let's do Hanumanji. Let's do Ram. Fair enough. But people have already done that. So how can I fascinate? I generally ask myself this question. What will fascinate a 5-year-old child?
Wow. Yeah, beautiful.
So that's your investment. Not financial investment.
That's the validation you need.
That's the seed.
Yeah, the validation you need. Yeah.
So when I'm 80, that child will be like
30,
30 and so in one sense, that was it. And also because I don't know if I'm digressing a little bit.
No.
Growing up in the late 70s and early 80s, India was not so luxurious.
It was not,
people, even educated families, would have to go through the rigor. So toys were not like, you go every time and buy a toy. So the only toy I would ever get was in a Binaka toothpaste.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of that?
No.
Okay. There are these rubbery plastic toys of animals that would come in these toothpaste.
Wow. Like Kinder Joy for us. Like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So the highlight of the month would be when my mom would go for the monthly shopping and pick up the toothpaste for the month and beg and hope that she would buy that. And she would buy that Binaka thing. And in that box, when you shake it, I still remember the distinct sound of that toy. I'd be so excited, come home, open the seal and pops out one small, like barely half an inch toy.
Wow. Okay.
That would be an animal always. Okay. So I remember collecting a rhino, a giraffe, an elephant and all these things. So why did I start this? Yes. So when the Ayodhya opportunity came, obviously, like I said, the best way to be an artist is to not grow up. So I said, what can I do that would be different from any other piece of art in Ayodhya? So I remembered the story of the Gilhari, how it helps the army of Ram.
Yes, of course.
So then I came up with an abstract Gilhari of mine. And I was skeptical. I thought the bureaucrats may not connect with an abstract work, but they did. And I got a call that I should make this. And there you go. We hardly had 25, 30 days.
Wow.
The first
I'm pretty
5-6
sure
days.
that they must have contacted a lot of sculptors and yours was the one chosen.
I am guessing so, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
so that is big in itself.
It was only much later that I realized it's for Ayodhya when I started saying, let's do the squirrel. And I didn't have to do any convincing or pushing. I was very skeptical if an abstract piece will fit an ancient place like
Like
Ayodhya.
a railway station, yeah.
So, to my great surprise, it was selected, and we barely had 25 days to make this.
Fantastic. Wow.
I always make a paper model of what I want to create. So the first 3 to 4 days went in the paper modeling, and then day night we made this sculpture, and it was installed.
So talking about your operations as well.
and
Yeah, sorry.
Honorable PM Modi ji made a comment about this Gilhari in
Wow.
his consecration speech.
Oh, wow.
He said, for the youth, he said this in Hindi, but he said
Around
something
the lines of, yeah.
on the lines of, today, India is in a situation where I tell the youth that if you're pessimistic or if you're disappointed with something, think of the Gilhari.
Fantastic.
Take in the spirit of the Gilhari and see what little you can do.
Wow.
Rather than thinking my little effort is not going to make a difference. So this was his connect to the Gilhari.
The one and only PM Modi.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. But this is actually, wow, I can't even, empathize with you because that feeling in itself must be so, magical.
I was watching that in Bangalore
Yeah.
and was awestruck that he made a mention of my sculpture.
And, so working with such projects, of course, because every artist's dream is to do the best of the best of the best of the best. But talking about sculpture specifically, they're so fragile. They're so, it's very scary to work with, especially steel as well. Kuch idhar se udhar ho gaya, one nut idhar se udhar, and the whole thing goes for a toss. So have these cases or incidents also happened? And of course, such a big sculpture going in a truck and you have to transport it. What are the challenges that you face while making such installations?
It would happen, yes, but other than the transport stage, while the manufacturing is happening, you would definitely come up with upteen number of challenges.
Yeah, I'm sure. I would love to hear.
Yeah. For example, you're in a rush, so you haven't sequenced the numbers of the pieces. So you would have like 500 pieces
Wow.
without numbers.
Wow.
Then I remember my team sitting and taking a vernier and measuring these pieces and putting
Placing them,
in place. So two pieces would be so similar unless you start measuring them with precision.
Yeah.
Then you know this piece goes there, that piece goes here. So if you take one shortcut, it's going to come back and bite you.
Because you've already passed that stage as well. So by the time you disassemble it,
Yes.
it will take
Yes.
another few days.
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. And has this happened?
This has happened.
In this project as well?
In this project as well.
And you made an entire sculpture within 25 days.
25 days, yeah.
Including delivery.
Including delivery.
Fantastic. So it's not easy. How big is your team, by the way? I haven't asked.
I have a core team. My son helps me. My wife is a part of the design
Acha, wow.
and structure that we create. My daughter's in 12th, so she's also interested in art. And
She gives the inputs, of course.
She gives the input. Other than this core team, I have a whole lot of industries in and around Bangalore with whom I consult at different stages and capacities. So then I get support from these industries as well. So I have a very dynamic team as much as I want, but I don't keep a team on my payroll because as an artist it doesn't work out.
Oh, yeah.
It'll bog you down wanting to feed the team with work.
And talking about materials, because for every artist, the raw materials are very important. Like with art, also we have different forms of paint in different companies. Is there a specific, I don't know the terminology, pardon me, is there a specific company or a specific kind of raw material that you only source to make your sculpture stronger and more, to make it last longer?
Yeah, there are different grades of stainless steel.
Please.
There is 304 and 316. These are standard industry terminologies. It's all like a minute variation in chrome content or zinc perhaps. I may not remember the exact terms, but the minutest of content variation will make the steel specific for a particular purpose.
Specific, yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I generally use 316 because it's extremely robust and it will last 100
Long
years,
years,
500 years. So steel is a material of choice in that sense.
Yeah, that's what. Because why am I asking is because again, for all the students who want to get into sculpting, it's very important to know the best of the materials that you use. Because then, if the material only doesn't last, then to fir Kalyan Rathore ka naam hi
Yeah.
So that is why I'm
So,
asking.
yes,
But
yes.
yeah, talking about Ayodhya, talking about the Guinness Book of World Records. It's been 13 years. Tell me about that experience as well.
The Guinness Book of World Record also was quite a happy accident that came about. Accenture reached out to me.
Accenture reached out
Yes.
to you, yes.
And they said they have unlimited number of photographs from a previous event last year, the previous year, which they would now like to use for something else. So the previous event was, they had asked all the employees across the world to upload their portrait pictures in a funny way or a creative way. So that had happened. That was a previous event. Now they had all these photographs. So they said, can you make something out of these photographs? And they went to quite a few agencies and artists, and most of them said, all right, we'll make a huge collage with 2 lakh photographs.
Yeah.
And, the top brass didn't like that idea. So when they came to me, I said, being a sculptor, I said, let's make a sculpture using photographs. So long story.
I mean, the thought behind it, like that itself.
So, it's an entirely well-knit story that happened with a lot of back and forth between me, Accenture team and the Guinness World Record team. So, long story.
You knew that the Guinness World Record,
Yes,
the book
in this case,
they're involved?
in this case, I
you
knew
knew
that.
it. Okay.
Yeah. So, I said, let's do a sculpture using photographs. So then Guinness got back saying, we don't have a discipline of that sort, but we will start one now. So since we are starting that discipline, we'll have to give you the guidelines. So what are the guidelines? All right, you can use photographs. You will have to create a sculpture that's at least 2 meters tall.
Wow.
At least. Otherwise, I can make a 2 feet sculpture and say, since nobody has made it, my 2 feet sculpture is a Guinness World Record. So to counter such possibilities, they said it has to be minimum of 2 meters. You can't use any steel, wood, any other foreign object other than the photographs.
Wow. Okay.
Now see how much Guinness would have, thought
about it. Yeah.
What is the loophole for the artist now? I can take 60,000 photographs, place them on top of each other and say, this is my sculpture, give me my Guinness World Record. Technically, I have got it. But meaningful, it's of no meaning to either Guinness or even to me. So then the next criteria was, what you're going to create, you have to tell me the build process. And we will approve the build process. Then if you are able to build it, that is when you will get the Guinness World Record. So I went back to my scientific and geometric thinking.
Yeah.
The strongest objects are shapes are beehive structures. Those hexagons.
Yes.
May I show this?
Yes, of course, please.
So this shape came about. It's nothing but 6 photographs.
Yes.
Folded into a triangle.
Yes.
And these triangles are pretty hard. And the white that you see
Base.
is nothing but the flip side of the photograph. So once I glue these things together, they
Makes
become
a hexagon.
and gluing them together would make them extremely strong. And hexagons, as you would know, would
No worries.
tessellate.
Yes, of course.
So you can make a complete panel out of this.
Structure, yeah.
So my sculpture now had a raw material which is made out of photographs. Stuck them together and created a sculpture that is about 15 feet 4 inches.
Fantastic.
Much bigger than 2
Then
meters.
what they want, yeah.
Yes. So
and how long did this entire process take?
About 3 months. I'd say the first month went in all the R&D.
Planning and
Yes,
R&D.
yes.
And then they of course someone from the team must have come and.
Yes, it was validated by someone from Guinness.
So one thing, okay, digressing from the topic, okay, this is my personal question. You've done so much in life. When so much of because this is the best kind of award an artist can get. Accenture being one of the biggest companies in the world, Guinness Book of World Records, TEDx. Okay, I mean we're going to talk about TEDx as well. So many strong validations. So now, talking about Kalyan S. Rathore, where does he stand in the art industry? Like, are you at that stage we were talking about scarcity. Like, you want to create that scarcity and, you want people to know, oh, this is my sculpture. So, how does your journey work from now on?
Like in any other field, the question is, what are you chasing? If I'm not chasing the commercial trajectory of this, I'm going to be an artist.
Sahi baat.
The minute I start chasing the commercials, my art will suffer. And people can tell. So for me, it's all about my journey as an artist, my journey to connect emotionally to my audience, my journey to influence students, younger children, other professionals.
Of course.
If I focus on this, everything else is a byproduct of what you love to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing and enjoying.
Do you have a vision for yourself as well?
Not really. My vision is my present. Rather,
you're living your best life.
I'm living my best life in that sense.
Fortunately.
Enjoying what I'm doing. And my vision is to, wake up and manifest my next best work rather than manifest anything else.
Yeah. And hopefully we'll be seeing you now at Anya as well. Just marketing myself because no one does. But yeah, hopefully, we would be seeing you. See, I can talk about so much of stuff. We can have the podcast 2 hours long. But I think it's been a fairly educative podcast. And I love the fact that you're an educator first and then you're an artist, because that's the vibe I've gotten from you. Now, talking about education, I just want to ask you 2-3 simple questions. Like, if there's one takeaway a student should take from you, what should that be? Other than your, the learnings that you have about geometry, about art and whatever. What is one learning that any student should take from you?
Don't be intimidated by terminologies and complex looking concepts that the previous generations have created. It is simpler than you would expect to break them down into simpler modules. When you break down any complex ideas into simpler modules and you start using analogy to understand things, learning becomes
simpler.
fun.
Yeah. Okay.
And never ever think this topic is so complex that I can't learn. Learn the first 5% anyway. The rest is left to the other faculties of you and the circumstances. But the learning of the first 5% will determine
your execution
and how your trajectory will go.
Fair enough. Beautifully said. Second question which I have is, talking about execution. So I think 90% of the artists or any human being in the world, the gap comes between ideation and execution. Everyone thinks big. I want to go to the moon. I want to, do what on the moon. So, but execution of that specific idea, like you dream of all the sculptures and you execute it. So how should one student or any human being bridge that gap? Like, what should I do as a person? Is it something disciplinary? Is it something mental taming that I need to do? What is it that I need to do?
2 things come to my mind. If you are yourself a teacher of the fundamentals, you can grow to the next level. So whatever you're doing, seek an opportunity to teach somebody else the fundamentals of your subject. There is no other way of growing faster than being a teacher yourself.
Beautifully said.
So that might apply to every field. No matter how much you might have achieved in your specific nuanced
But how do I
field.
convert that into execution? Like you thought of,
Yes.
let's
Yeah.
say the pencil box also we're talking about. So how did I? This is a very good idea, but how do I create this into executing it?
Mm, you just have to.
Like, is
do
there
it.
a mantra or is there something I need to follow?
You just have to do it.
Yeah.
And finally, out of the 10 ideas you have, what materializes, what sees the light of day would be 2 or 3. So you should have 100 ideas, so you can
Execute.
have 10.
Yes, very
And,
well said.
You need to want to select the best. There will be too many distractions. Distractions are good in the creative stage, but then when you want to get into execution stage,
Leave everything.
stop being-
Discipline.
stop being wanting to do everything. Focus on one, laser focus on one, and do it. Whether it succeeds or not,
Just do it.
yes, just do it.
Nike. Another, as a layman, which I have a doubt is, me being, you have of course gained knowledge, you've researched, you've done your fair share of educating yourself. But me as a student now, if I want to follow your path for that matter, because everyone has their own path, what is my path to actually becoming legitimate in the industry? Or should I just keep on taking each and every opportunity that comes my way? Or should I be selective of any opportunity that comes my way?
At the base, it's like a pyramid.
Yeah.
When you're beginning, you need to
Do everything.
do everything. Everything will have a different lesson for you to take home. And then the pyramid starts narrowing. So as you grow, you focus and you find your tip of the sphere. So finding that tip of the sphere has to happen from a larger base, and only after working, you get to narrow it and get into your niche.
But that tip is also never ending. Like you keep on, yeah.
It is. Yeah.
It's never ending.
But at least it becomes tapered enough for you to call it your niche.
Of
Yeah.
course. Would you say that Kalyan S. Rathore is a content person? Are you content in life?
Yes and no, both.
I'm
As
talking
a-
about career,
as-
emotional and personal life. Yeah.
As a student of physics, I know duality. If you take quantum physics, the nature of light is not one. It is a wave and it is a particle. So duality is a reality.
Wow.
Similarly, am I content? In one sense, in a positive sense, I am. Am I still striving for something? Yes. In fact, if I am content, then I would not be content.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Beautifully said. Yeah. If you're content, you would never be content.
Correct.
So true. So yeah. Beautiful. I think I've had such an educative session today, and I can't be happier. And I'm saying it out on camera. You can check all my podcasts. This has been one of the most intense podcasts I've ever had. We've had 30 podcasts now, and I think this is one of the most intense and a lot of fun, a lot of education from you. Thanks to you. Just summing up the podcast, I want to know what has been your most heartful moment.
Selling my first work
Yeah,
in a gallery
yeah.
where I was put up with some national names those days, and to my surprise, I was so nervous I wouldn't walk into this gallery space. I was actually hiding in the washroom
Oh wow.
for fear of being
Present,
ridiculed.
yeah.
But when I came back in the first 5 minutes, it was my work that was sold.
Fantastic.
So that was something.
Do you remember the amount you sold it for?
55,000?
Oh wow. Oh wow. First earning.
Yeah. This was way back.
Beautiful, beautiful. I think God bless you, sir. God bless you always.
Thank
and
you.
we are so proud of you. Genuinely from the bottom of my heart. We love your work. I've been following you, as I've been saying. Would love to see you flourish and get more world records in future. And that's it's been a very fun podcast. Anything you want to say?
I must say that I think thanks to Heartful
Yeah.
and you, that I think your questions and energy brought in so many aspects of me that I had myself either forgotten or was buried in my subconscious mind.
I'm so glad.
So, I guess I must thank you for the energy that you were
It was
able to infuse
purely-
into this discussion.
It was purely candid, and I think these are the best kind of conversations ever. When it's so
Indeed.
candid, and I'm saying it, I haven't read a single question out of this, guys. So it's been so candid, it's been so heartful that I think it's going to be a memory. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you in future, sir. Looking forward to working with you also in the future.
Absolutely.
And I love this. Do you want to quickly, tell people what these are? Quickly to sum it up.
Sure.
You can move the bike. Yeah, we can keep it a bit away.
So these are all the basic geometries that come from nature.
Okay.
This is called the Kelvin foam.
Okay.
And it's a complex name unless I break it down to you. Like if I were to take optimum number of balloons, inflate them and then squeeze them together, a form something on these lines would appear.
Wow.
So this explains efficiency in nature.
Wow. I'll pass it on to you.
These are some very old concepts that I have created for, especially to talk to students about geometry. The most fundamental forms, like is called a metatron.
And it's all labeled, I can see.
Yes.
Like A, B, yeah.
Yeah, right. So that, I know the sequence.
Acha, okay.
Yeah. So that, similar ideas. Like this has a lot of
Fantastic.
alphabets of form, I would say. We learn alphabets, we build words, we make sentences. But we are never taught what are the fundamental building blocks of structure and form. This is a typical example where 4 platonic solids have come together. These are things I speak about in my experience
talks.
session. So this is like a geometry where 4 different platonic solids have come together to give you this interesting geometry. But at the end of it, you would see there are a lot of pieces that actually repeat themselves. They are very similar pieces repeating themselves, yet giving you a complex shape. These are the approaches I have. Structures like these, which are
Fantastic.
flexible.
And by the way, guys, who's ever seen this is all made from, like, there are no joints in these. This is all raw paper, I'm guessing. Like,
There are joints.
there are,
But
okay.
then there are a lot of sequences that continue without a joint.
Fluidity.
Yes. Stuff like that, and a shape like this would remind you of the coral reef.
Yes.
the way
Yes.
pattern goes.
Yes.
So, no matter how complex this looks, it has only 3 fundamental shapes. And then how these 3 fundamental shapes can come together to give you all the complexities that you would see.
Fantastic. Now I know what you do in your pastime. Wow, sir. I think these have been very informative, and I only have one thing to say, that every artist, has his or her own story. Why do we have Sir is because he's beautifully blended science, geometry, so many concepts with art. At the end of the day, yes, he's an artist, but like, look at the beauty and the story of it. So that is what you've brought to light, and I think so many people will get so inspired by this. So thank you for being here. You've flown all the way from Bangalore. I truly wish that I come to Bangalore one day to your studio and meet up with Siddharth as well and your team.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank
You're
you so
most
much.
welcome.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for being part of this podcast, sir. I truly hope we could, assist you warmly. Thank you so much.
Ariman, I truly enjoyed this.
Yeah.
And thank you for the hospitality, for the warmth.
No
And
sir.
thanks to Delhi weather that has been a little respite for us in the last 2 days.
Fortunately.
Lovely.
Thank you. So this is me signing off. I don't know the number of the episodes, but this is the Heartful Show where art meets the heart. Do watch the entire podcast. This is a very fun session with Kalyan Rathore. You're going to see this podcast very soon. Educate yourself on science, geometry, art, sculptures. Do stalk him, do follow him, and keep on loving us. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for watching the Heartful Show.